Hello, welcome back to another video. So this is going to be, once again, another story video. I know this will be the third video like this in a row, but I guess I just have a lot to say, and it seems like you guys do like my stories. I got a lot of subscribers since the last video, so I just assume that stories are something that everyone enjoys, so here goes another one. So this is going to be the story of the Lions Guild. So if you don't know what the Lions Guild is a massive clan on Hypixel, and it's a clan of just people whose name starts with a line. Uh, all of them start with line. I've gotten a lot of questions about this. People are confused, like, why does this exist? Like, why are there lines? Like, why are there so many people with this name? So this starts with me coming up with my own username back in 2011, I believe. And I have like a whole nother video on that. That's a very long story. If you want to know how I came up with my own name, go watch that one. But I'm just going to pick up in 2015 when I already have my name. I've been playing Minecraft for a very long time, and I've been playing on Hypixel for about 2 years at this point. So one day I was playing on Hypixel with my friend who I know in real life. I'm gonna refer to him as Kinghead. If you watched the story of my name video that I mentioned earlier, then you'll know who that is. Uh, so Kinghead and I were playing on Hypixel, and name changes had just recently come out. Mojang had added name changes, the ability to change your name, which had not been a feature of the game for a very long time. So Kinghead had been kind of stuck with a really like a username that he didn't like, just because of making the account like a really long time ago. And we were talking about name changes and kind of the funny things that you could do by like changing your name to something else. Like you could probably troll people. Like, what if two people came on and they had similar names and everyone would be confused, like, what? Like, it's the same person, but it's not really the same person. It's just pretend. And now I know you see that all the time, but remember, name changes have just come out, and no one was really doing it at this point. Since he didn't really like his username and he didn't really play Minecraft very much, King had changed his username to Lionhead2 to go along with mine. So we played a few games, like not very much. Like we just played a few games and kind of messed around with people, like saying stuff in the chat, and it's like Lionhead says this and Lionhead2 says this, and it was pretty funny. At least we thought it was. So after we did that, Kinghead just decided to give me his account, just so I could have another account. I don't know, for whatever reason. Like I didn't really need it, but he just kind of gave it to me because I played Minecraft and he didn't, and so he didn't really like need the account at all. So a few months later, another friend that I knew in real life needed a Minecraft account. So I gave him the account. I gave him Kinghead's account, Linehead2, and he logged into it. So Linehead2 became his main account. And a few months later, the name was changed to Lineheads. So to this day, Lineheads uses that account that I gave him. I still have access to the account actually, but I haven't logged into it in a very long time. So a few more months passed by, and I'd gotten VIP Plus kind of recently at this point. So I decided, like I was in a Mega Walls guild at the time that I didn't really care for very much, and I was just kind of bored one night. So I just left my guild and I decided, just kind of on a whim, to create my own guild. Uh, and I couldn't think of a name, so I just named it after myself, and the guild was called Linehead. Uh, and at first I was just gonna have it be like a joke, and it was just gonna like it was the Linehead Guild, so it was only gonna be Linehead in the guild. But then I was thinking, like, there's someone named Linehead, so I might as well invite him too. So for a while, uh, like I think for a whole month, the guild was just me and him, and it was the Linehead Guild with Linehead and Lineheads. But then, like, some more time passed, and we're now in December of 2015, and my cousin was visiting. And, since we didn't really have a lot to do, I was playing Minecraft, and I was kind of showing her Hypixel. And she decided to, like, log in on her own account, just to mess around, I guess. I think we were playing Mega Wall still at that time. Uh, but I showed her my guild that I had, and she thought it was kind of funny, and that it was just like, oh, it's Linehead and Linehead, it's a clan. So pretty much as a joke, she changed her name to Linehead with a Q, so Linehead Wood, um, and joined the guild. So we had three people in the guild, three people named Linehead in the guild, Linehead, Lineheads, and Linehead. And originally, Linehead was just going to be a joke, and Linehead wasn't going to be Linehead for any extended amount of time. Like that was just a temporary thing. That was a joke for like 1 month, and then the name was going to get changed back. That's what we understood. However, she pretty much stopped playing Minecraft, and for some reason decided to delete the email account linked to her account. So she completely lost access to the account and can't log into it at all. So the name was permanently stuck at Linehead, and to this day, Linehead still in the guild, has not logged in since December 2015. So when 2016 was starting, I decided to invite more people to the guild because they saw that I had a guild and wanted to join it. So it like after 2015, it was no longer just people named Linehead in the Linehead guild. Uh, it became Linehead and just people I knew in real life. So I believe there were 7 people in the guild, and their names will be on the screen right now because I don't feel like listing them. So that was the guild for another like 4 months, I believe. That was the guild. It was just those 7 people. Then in April of 2016, I was in a party, just a large Skywars party. We were just kind of messing around, uh, and I believe there were like 20 people in the party. Uh, but it just so happened that the name of one of the other players in the party was Line Noise. And I was like, wow, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, that person just has a name similar to mine. So I friended Line Noise, uh, and I partied with her after that. She was really nice. Probably one of the nicest people I've really met over the internet, in all honesty. Uh, and I think like another month went by. I looked up Line Noise's stats, and I saw that she had, just by another random coincidence, she also had a guild named after herself. It was just Line Noise, and there were 2 people in it. Um, it was just her and a person who I later learned was her cousin uh, in real life. So like, wow, like parallels going on here. So I think like a month went by, and I asked if Line Noise wanted to join my guild, since there were already 3 people named Lion. Like like why not join it? Like it's just like you happen to have that name, so you might as well join the guild. So you're just like what, yeah, whatever. Like I don't care about my own guild. So she joined it, uh, and her cousin also joined it. Um, so now we had 4 lines, and after that, like I was like, like this guild is kind of expanding a little bit. So I started asking some people on my friend list if they wanted to join the guild, and I asked a lot of people, but one of the people who I asked was named Candy Spies. So this brings us to the first screenshot of the guild list taken on May 7th of 2016. The guild only had 13 members at this point, but I remember being like really proud of this guild. Like I was so proud of it. Like this was something that I'd created. Like people actually wanted to join my guild, and that meant a lot to me. So summer went by, not much was happening, but in September, um, a very well-known player at the time noticed my guild and was very interested in it. Most of you are probably not going to know who this is, but if you played Mega a long time ago, maybe this name will be familiar to you. Nicked. That is Knickd. This guy was like a Mega legend. He was like, I think he was like leaderboard at some point. He was like in top 10, I think. But we were kind of friends. Like I partied with him a lot. I don't know why he wanted to party with me. Like I wasn't that good at Skywars, but he pretty much just carried me a lot. But basically, like I was in a party with him, and I think I invited Lineheads to join it. And he was like really surprised by it, and he thought it was really funny that like we had similar names like that. So he asked like, oh, are you in the same guild? Like, yeah, we're in the same guild. Like, what's the guild called? Linehead. And he thought that was also really hilarious. And he asked like, oh, well, is the guild full of just people named Linehead? And I was like no, but we have some lines. We've got Linehead and we have Line Noise. And he was like, oh my gosh, you have a clan. And he thought that was like the funniest thing ever. I was like, oh wow, okay. Like I guess someone cares about my clan. So some time went by after that, and Nick stopped playing on his main account, and he started buying other accounts that were like OG names. Uh, so one name that if you watched my previous video, you'll recognize this name, Sharp. That was actually him. So Sharp wasn't really using his old account, which had like 700 wins and was on the mega leaderboard for wins. Uh, and he didn't really use it, and he thought it was like really funny that I had a clan. So he decided to change his old account to the name Linebutt, which still exists. And I invited him to the guild, and he joined it. He wasn't very active, but he was another line, and we were just building up lines at this point. It just from random things, people were starting to change their names. So the next day, actually, Nick slash Sharp slash Linebutt uh, decided to change another account that he owned. I don't know how he owned this account, but he changed another account to the name Linefoot. So now there were 6 lines in the Linehead Guild, and people started to notice that. So that's when people started voluntarily changing the names of their main account to join my clan. So the first person to do this was Line Oreo. That name might be familiar to some of you. So Line Oreo joined the guild, and he was quickly followed by some other people that I was friends with. Uh, I believe Line Rain with a Q and Line Combos, who was Line Oreo's brother. So at this point, I started to get kind of popular, and it wasn't because of the clan. I think it was just because I was playing like way too much Mega Skywars. Like all my time on Hypixel was spent on Mega Skywars, and I'd also recently gotten MVP Plus. I'd upgraded from VIP Plus to MVP Plus, uh, and I also had level 100 at that time, so I had the Dark Green Plus, which was pretty rare for 2016. So people started to notice me a lot more, and that resulted in more people wanting to join the guild. And at that point, I'd let anyone who wanted in my guild, anyone who wanted in could join. So the guild grew quite a bit, like through October, and people started asking me, "Can I have officer?" And I was really surprised, like, "Oh, what? Like, you want officer?" And the first few people who asked, I just sort of gave it to them, uh, just because they'd been in the guild for a while at that point. But after that, I was kind of thinking like, "Oh, there's too many officers. I can't give it to everyone who asks." So I decided like, okay, well, I have this clan going on, and all the clan people are officers except for like 2 people. So, I guess I'll just make being a line, being in the clan, be the requirement to get officer. I thought like, oh, well, that'll stop people from asking for officer because I mean, who'd want to change their name? Like, honestly, like I wouldn't do that just to get officer. But I was highly mistaken, and a lot of people in my guild changed their name to something line related just to get officer. And I was true to my word, and I gave all of them officer. Uh, and that, like, for a while, there were like way too many officers. There were like 10 officers. So I decided like, okay, I need to stop that because there's way too many people who are getting officer positions, and they don't know what they're doing at all. I ended up getting like a lot of like bad officers who'd kind of mess up the guild, like kind of kick people, and I didn't want that, so I stopped giving everyone officer who was a line, and I demoted some of the other lines. So some notable people who changed their name to line at this point. Uh, we had Line Salt and Line Nerd, who are cousins, if I'm not mistaken. And we also had Line Noise's cousins join, Line Gamer and Line Arts. And we had a few others, I believe. Line Cookies, Line Sock were a few. I think there's probably a few more. But anyway, the guild was growing quite rapidly, and we were starting to join games with like huge parties of lines, and we'd start getting noticed too. And that point, I think, was when the Line Squad series on my channel began. Uh, and so that's like November 2016. So then the guild kind of went downhill a little bit. I had like a lot of officers there who really didn't deserve officer, but I didn't want to demote them. So first of all, Line Oreo turned out to be a hacker, and he also started to just pick fights with people, and I remember one time he was just completely insulting Line Noise for no reason, and that made me really mad. In retrospect, I should have kicked him from the guild right then, but I was just like, I was too proud of my clan and I didn't want to kick anyone who was named Line. But anyway, him and Line Requain and Line combos started to get super annoying. And all in all, like the guild started to have a lot of drama. But there were still some really nice people in the guild who I'd like to point out, and that was Candy Spies, who later changed his name to Hey I'm Jay, who was really nice and gave me a lot of advice. Actually, like that whole time he'd been telling me that like it was a bad idea to just let people have officer, and he was totally right. I just didn't listen to him because he didn't have a line name, and the lines were the only thing that mattered. Uh, and there was also Line Solar. His name is currently Line Origin, but him, Ham J, and Line Noise were the three competent officers. So after that, the guild continued to grow, but people were also starting to leave. Uh, so I think around that time, like it was like December or something, or January 2017, I think. Uh, Hey MJ changed his name to Line Galaxy, and at that point we had about 15 lines, I think. We started playing a lot of Mega in like parties of 5 lines, and people started to notice us a lot, and we got a lot of hate. But the guild continued to grow. But as it grew, it just started to get really, really annoying to deal with. A lot of people who were joining were just super annoying people, and we started using Discord a lot. So when I'd log in, pretty much everyone would just want to Discord with me, and like they'd want to party, and they'd want to be in line squad, and they'd keep asking to be promoted to officer. It was a lot of spam to deal with, but I felt like I couldn't really get away from them because they were my guild, and they'd like change their name to to be similar to my name, and I felt like I could like I had to, I had to play with them, like I had to give them attention, because they deserved it. However, I was not the only person who was being annoyed. Uh, Unfortunately, Line Noise was also being annoyed, and she decided that just the whole idea of a clan didn't appeal to her, and she didn't want to be in one, which it was understandable because her name was Line Noise to begin with. She was pretty much the co-founder of the guild without really wanting to be, and I guess she just didn't want to deal with it anymore, which I totally respected. But tragically, in January of 2017, Line Noise changed her name to Noiselessly and left the guild. And that was really sad at the time, but at the same time, like, I had a huge guild now. There were like, I think there were like 30 people with line names at this point. And that guild honestly became my obsession. Like, I was just obsessed with this guild. I was so proud of myself for creating it and for making something that is like friendly. There's no requirements. Like, this is the best guild on Hypixel. I'm the owner of the best guild on Hypixel. And I think, like, wow, there's never been a clan to last this long. Like, I'm probably the biggest clan on Hypixel. And like, wow, like, I'm unbeatable. Like, no one can possibly be better than Line Squad. Like, no one can beat Line Squad. Line Squad is the absolute best thing that has ever happened, and there is nothing that can compare to it. And even in real life, I just walk around the hallways and at my school, and I just think about how great my Minecraft guild was, and how great I was for creating this awesome guild, and how famous I was on the internet, even though I wasn't even famous. It pretty much just became an obsession. It was like this guild was all I cared about. And it's not bad to like care about your guild, like that's good, but when it becomes this all-encompassing thing, like even in real life, like interfering with like in real life, like my self-esteem was connected to this guild. I remember I'd pretty much look at the guild list on Plank like at least like 5 times every day. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like 5 times a day, I'd pull up the guild page and I'd scroll through and just read all the line names and just memorize them and like think about all of these online people who just adore me, and that would make me feel better about myself. I remember I even had a notebook in real life. It was actually like the back of one of my school notebooks, where I just keep track of all the people in the guild and all their name changes, and I'd like update it when someone joined, and I'd cross it out when someone left, and I'd put like a tally mark next to it if they changed their name. Yeah, I'm not making this up. This was an unhealthy obsession, and this was honestly really, really bad. So I think May of 2017 was the peak of Line Squad. I remember days where like multiple lines would join, and it was like there was at least one person joining every day for a few weeks, which was crazy. Like that's really crazy growth for a clan like that. And we'd have like parties of 10 joining games, and we got a lot of attention. It was great, even though it was like unhealthy. It was great. But I remember the guild kept getting bigger, and I kept inviting anyone who wanted to join. And eventually, we got to like 70 members. And at that point, Line Noise had kind of gone inactive again, or noiselessly, I should say. She'd gone inactive and wasn't really playing that much for a while. But I think around like April and May of 2016, she sort of came back. Uh, and I started partying with her a lot. And we talk on Discord with her and her guild, which ironically she left the guild because she didn't like clans, but her guild kind of jokingly formed a clan around her. So poor Line Noise, she couldn't escape from the clans. The clans just followed her everywhere. But we talk about just why she left the guild and like the state of the guild. Line Noise pretty much thought that it was like just a bunch of fanboys of me, and uh, she just thought it was really annoying, which I started to agree with her. Like once I really heard it uh, explained like that, like wow, I started looking at my guild differently. So around May, like all the self-esteem that I was getting from this guild pretty much just left, and I started realizing like, wait, why do I care about this so much? Like, why does this matter again? And I kind of got really annoyed with the guild at that point because there were a lot of very annoying people, and those were the most active people instead of like the nice people. Uh, so pretty much people who I didn't want to play with were online most of the time, and so I decided like you know what, I want to get rid of some of these annoying people. So I went on my alt, which had been gifted to me by Sharp slash Linebutt, who had pretty much quit at this point. Like he's gone, but he gave me uh, the Linefoot account, which I renamed to Linelessly to join Noise's clan, as you saw in the screenshot earlier. That's actually me. I went on that account and just started like talking about like wow, like this guild is such a fan club, and you know all the annoying people that I wanted to leave were on then, and they actually like left, and it worked. But after that, like pretty much the idea that it was a fan club started spreading everywhere, just pretty much literally because of me. Like I made it that way. There was even some messages on Discord that I posted about how it was a fan club. I was being super, super dramatic about this. I don't know why. This was like the one thing in my life that I cared about at this time, honestly, which is really, really sad. So at that point, I pretty much just had enough with this guild. Like there were way too many people in it, like more people than I knew how to deal with. So I decided to kick a lot of people. Like I think half the guild got kicked one day. Uh, just mostly the non-lines got kicked. Like I didn't want to kick anyone who was a line. But after that, I just didn't want to invite anyone to the guild anymore because the guild had just caused so much trouble, and I just didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. So I stopped inviting people, and since I wasn't inviting anyone to the guild, no one really joined the guild to like see the clan. So no one was really changing their name to the line. And then I got helper, and I just started caring about my guild less and less because I was focused on other stuff. You know, a lot of stuff started happening in real life, and just the guild wasn't it wasn't my focus anymore. Thank God. So pretty much after that, it just declined slowly. The existing lines pretty much started to go inactive. Not a lot of them play anymore, to be honest. There's probably like 10 active lines maximum. Uh, and I'm pretty much running a dead guild at this point. So a few things I want to say. I'm still really proud that Lions happened, and I'm very grateful to anyone who was a part of it, anyone who was ever a part of the guild, anyone who changed their name, just to be a part of my clan. Like, I don't understand why anyone would want to do that. Like, for me personally, like my name, like Linehead, I really like that name, and I would never change it. And I like it's honestly an honor that someone would want to change their name just to be in my clan. And the fact that like over 50 people did that, and a lot of them like kept it that way for like years, like over a year. Just the fact that people kept that name for such a long time. Like, guys, I've seen so many clans. Like, do you remember Technoguild? Yeah, I think we all remember Technoguild, but that guild had like I don't know, like 800 people, and they were all named the same thing. They were all following a YouTuber. But how long did that guild last? Like that was just a fad. That wasn't a real like family. And I think that as annoying and as dysfunctional as it was, the Line Guild was a family. And I'm very proud that I was able to create that. Now, that being said, I don't want to be in this stupid guild anymore. So, what's going to be happening now is me and my real life friends, well, Nineheads and Tinby, we're leaving the guild. We're joining a staff guild. Well, it's not entirely a staff guild. We're joining Radiate. Just I have some staff friends in that guild, and they said it was okay for me to join. Uh, and this is kind of hard, but honestly, I'm just done with dealing with this guild. I think it was beautiful while it lasted, but look at it now. It's dead. There's a few people who are still active, but honestly, I want to end it while it's still kind of at a high note because I see the slow decay, and I don't want my guild to decay. I just like I think I'm just gonna say like it's done now. Like it's better to just have that be definite. Just say that like it was fun while it lasted, but all things come to an end, and I just want to move on from this guild, especially considering that it was such an obsession in the past. I think that's just best for everyone. So yes, I created something good, and yes, it was positive in some ways, but it was negative in others, and it's dying now, so I'm leaving, and that's that. So the new guildmaster will be Lion Galaxy. Um, Lion Galaxy really deserves guildmaster. Uh, he's told me like he doesn't think that he can like take my place or something, which that's ridiculous. Like honestly, Lion Galaxy, like you can be a better guildmaster than I was. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna be saying goodbye to my guild right now. All right, we're in the lobby now. This is it. This is the end of me being the guildmaster of Lions. So /G transfer Lion Galaxy /G confirm, and that's it. Lion Galaxy is the new guildmaster of Lions. See how this looks. Wow, that's interesting. All right. So it looks like this is goodbye.